Hello, my crafty friends, and welcome to Party at Home with Diane. If you could please like, share, and follow, that way you get notifications of new videos that I'm posting. My April host code is right here. I will always have my current month host code as a banner on my webpage at partyathome.net. So if it's not April and you're watching this, you can always go to my webpage and find out my current host code. I thank everybody from the bottom of my heart that uses that host code. That is how I buy paper and my stamps and dies and inks and tools to do these videos. So I just appreciate you so much for using that code. So let's get started. Today's spotlight is the Handsomely Suited stamp and die set. And when they made this set, it is absolutely amazing. Not only can you use it for men's cards, but you can flip it around and use it for women's cards also. And I'll show you a Mother's Day and Father's Day card that I've made that I am absolutely in love with. So in the stamp set, you have a long tie and the top knot. You have two bow ties and the top knot. And then you have all these sentiments. And they are nice and big and bold sentiments. And now you're going to say, well, wait, is this one stamp or two? Quick tip. I made this for a Father's Day card, and she just didn't want the handsome on there. So I just cut it off. Don't be afraid to cut your stamps. And so I just cut it along the dots and separated the handsome from the Have a Happy Father's Day. Now I have two usable stamps, or I can put them together along the cut line and just use it as one stamp. So don't be afraid to cut your stamps apart. I do it all the time. There's no stamping police that's going to come and say you can't do that. So let's get started. I just have so much fun with this die set. Look at all these cards. I just keep making and making and making. So in the die set, not only do you get the things that match the stamp, you also are going to receive a pocket, the buttons, the lapel, a V die to cut out the shirt, the collar. You'll get a top pocket, so you can use it with as a top pocket without having the pocket outline, or you can use it just over the top on the pocket as dimension. And I have examples of that. And then you get these two funny little dies and this long die. And at first I was like, what are those for? And then once I figured it out, I was in heaven. So let's get started and see some cards. Now this stamp and die set is in the current catalog, and it will be in the new catalog for 2021-2022. However, the paper pack called Well Suited Designer Series paper will not be in the new catalog. So you want to order that as soon as you can, because when it's gone, it is gone for good. And this is just designed so well. Tweed for the jacket, ties, shirts. It is a well-suited designer series paper pack. I love the paisleys. I just love paisleys. So you want to get that sooner than later. So I started with the Night of Navy cardstock and white cardstock. I used the designer series paper for his tie top knot, and I cut out a second top knot for his pocket handkerchief. And I don't know if you can see it in the camera. I scored lines every half inch on the cardstock for his suit. I did not do it on the lapel, only the suit, to give it a more of a pinstripe, a subtle pinstripe look. And then I just took a piece of white cardstock that I had, just a scrap piece, and I cut out a little triangle, and then I used the, oh good grief, the soft suede ink with my blending tool, and just colored a little bit of it for the neckline, and then slid that in and glued that in for the men's neckline. Oops, this is loose. I've played with it so much and showed it to people that it is coming a little bit apart. So pardon that. Get that back in there. But this makes just a really nice card. Here is one that I made for a friend for Father's Day. She wanted a Father's Day card from me. And so I used the bow tie with white embossing ink, the white embossing ink. And I used this right here and these two. So this is for the suspenders and the suspender clips. How brilliant is that? I am just in love with this die set. So as a gift from me, if you order this stamp and die set in the month of April, if you order it as a set, you get a 10% discount. So look for the set price in the catalog. And then I will send you some silver mirror card for free as my gift to you from ordering from me. I just want to do something special, and I just love this card set, and I want you to be able to use it. I used the suspenders to cut out a long piece of the mirror card and just cut it down to fit here. And so now I have the suspender clips and then the suspender clips down here. I cut out another piece using the suspender paper for the button placard right here, and then black for buttons. And then there's the sentiment without the handsome on there. I mean, how easy peasy is this? This card took me all of 10 minutes to make. It was just so fun. Now here's the next card. It's a little bit more formal. And I will do a video on this. I did a video and I must not hit record hard enough because I got all done making this card and there was no video. So I will get that done here shortly. I used the same designer series paper and top knot. And then here's where I used just the top button or the top pocket. Right here, so you don't have the full pocket, just the top pocket, the buttons. And then I cut it from here to here. I just cut it right in half. So it opens up to a fun fold card. And again, here's the suspenders and the suspender clips. So how fun is that? So now you have like a wedding card, you know, for a groom. And then you can flip it up, change it up. It's not just for man cards anymore, manly cards. You can also make women's cards. So here is using the V for the shirt, the collar for the neckline. I just cut out a triangle of the paper that I made, and I'll show you that. And then the buttons, I used just a little bit of Wink of Stella to make them a little bit brighter. And then I had some old pearls in my craft stash, and I was playing around with this card, so I used those. Just one right in the center and two on each side. I didn't use the dimensionals on these, so the collar is nice and flat. And the pockets, easy peasy pudding pie. Again, I just took a corner of a scrap piece of paper and slid that right in there for the neckline so you don't see the colored paper. Easy peasy. Now, on these, what I did was I made a template because I am a templates girl and I don't really like to measure over and over and over again, especially when I'm making so many cards. So what I did was I cut out just a cheap 4¼ by 5½ cardstock, and I measured it out. So I measured out how much of the cardigan I wanted to show from the blouse to the edge, and measured it from corner or side to side and then corner to corner to make sure it was even, and then ran it through the die cut machine. And now I have a women's template, a women's sweater template to use over and over. So every time I cut these, I don't have to measure. So that's just another little helpful hint. On making the pattern paper, all I did was I took my blending tool, I took some Blushing Bride, and just went over the white cardstock And I like it that it's light and dark spots because that gives dimension to the shirt. And then cut it out, and now I have my own designer series paper. How easy peasy was that? Again, here's the pearls. But you can also make it, oh, and I used the Highland Heather. I always want to call it Heather Highland. So I used Highland Heather for the cardstock. Easy peasy, 2 colors of cardstock, white and the Highland Heather, and you're good to go. But you can also step it up a notch. And here I used the 2020 to 2022 in color designer series paper, the 6x6. I just love that set because you get a lot of paper. And I cut that out just using white for the pocket for the handkerchief. Again, I used buttons from just a piece of scrap Blushing Bride, and here I popped up the collar with the dimensionals, and now you have just a little bit more card, a little more elegant card. And I cut out the V on both the front and the back, and you've got a nice card. So this is the card set that I'm giving for a friend of mine for Father's Day and Mother's Day. I mean, easy peasy. It is just such a versatile set. Now you can also use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss folders. This one's the Ornate Floral 3D folder. It's in the new catalog that's coming out, and it's in the current catalog. And it gives you this beautiful 3D flower embossing that I think is just pretty. And I just got this in the mail. I actually stopped the video so I could run it out to the front porch and grab it. So I'm really excited to make a shirt with this one, the women's cardigan. I had an old embossing folder in my stash. So using my own made designer series paper and buttons and pocket or handkerchief, I used an old embossing folder, and now I have another card. And I made it more of a pullover so it doesn't have the buttons there. I like to just play. And then I stepped it up a whole lot using the Blushing Bride designer paper, or the Blushing Bride cardstock. And then I used the Peony Garden designer series paper for her shirt. This will not be in the new catalog, so if you want to get this designer series paper, you need to order that in April, sooner than later, because when it is gone, it is gone. And I just think this made a beautiful card. I used the Wink of Stella to just make the buttons a little bit more shiny. And then in my stash, I had this crystal drops. And so I used that for the pearl buttons on the cardigan. However, it does take a while to dry if you have those. And I wasn't paying attention and plopped my die set, right on it and flattened them out. So just be careful, those do take a little bit longer to dry. But there you go. Look at all these cards that you can make from one die set. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And trust me, I am going to be playing more and more and more with these, making more cards. I already have people wanting Father's Day cards from me using this die set, so it is worth the money to get the set. And so thank you for watching my video. Make sure you like, share, and follow. And again, here is my host code. Happy stamping, and I will see you soon.